once you've got, I'm about to do this anyway, so hold off, Olivia, you might find this will work for you. Once you've kind of got your basics, you're thinking about the components, you've got a few pages made, you should be able to just bring in everything else. So if you just copy that, like select it in Illustrator, copy it to the clipboard, select your page, and just, literally do the same as you would do with, any program, just paste it in, and there it is for you to work with straight up. And that way you can bring the colours in. So if you've got colour swatches on your, say down here, you've got colour swatches, just copy them and see, just check if they'll paste straight in for you, Olivia.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and then once you've got that, you just go plus, and then it gets added into your swatches, kind of ready to use within Adobe XD. So that's going to save you a lot of time compared to typing in the actual hex code. So once you've got, so this is the thing now, you can start bringing some of your, and again, think about what you want to have. You might want to have things grouped before so if something's going to repeat, you can actually make it part of the component, or you can keep it separate so it can just sit on top of it. So those are some choices you'll have. There are a few little tricks with some of the logo things. So I'll try bringing this one in, for example. And when I bring it in, so I just get that up there. I don't want it to doing that. Yeah, so, oh yeah, look, I've accidentally ended up in prototype mode. Just make sure you're in design mode when you're doing all of this. Just check. So prototype mode, there's two modes. So design is what we're doing now. When we want to make things interactive, that's when we'll switch to prototyping mode. So just check that you're in design mode right now. So the idea, once you've got something in, they're very easy to expand and, resize. However, if you find a couple of people might have this issue, if you bring something in and it's pulling apart, like when you try to expand it, it may be that there's a certain little thing I've got to show you can switch off. I'll see if it happens on this one. We usually have someone this happens to, where as you try to enlarge it, the thing just sort of pulls apart. No, it's not happening today. But if you start enlarging and you see the individual components starting to pull apart, then you'll have to turn off responsive resize, which is across here on the right. So have a look at that. So if you're having any trouble with components not resizing properly, if they're separating out, then you need to turn that to off. So yeah, just maybe yell out if that's happening to you. But in the meantime, just try and get your elements across and your colours organised. And you can cut and paste text across. However, you can just type directly onto the page. So I'll just show you how the type tool works. It's a little bit different. Like everything's mostly the same, except the enlargement tool. You can just grab the text and drag once you've created it. So I'll just do it again and select it with that black selection tool. Can everybody see that little tag there? Little blue dot, and you just drag with that and it just enlarges. So it's very easy to enlarge and reduce type. So that's the type feature. And again, you can bring in your fonts. You can cut and paste things across, or you can go and select the actual font and so on. And then you can add the characters in. So adding them in is a matter of selecting the type and then hitting the plus, and then that font is added into your design. So play around with that. Maybe just demo that. So if you've got your fonts properly organised over here, again, you can cut and paste the whole thing across, but then you do need to add it to your, yes, it's not added in there, the character style. So once you select it though, if it'll let me, no, I'm not going to select. No, it's not going to select. Oh. No, it's not going to work. You might have to actually type it in, select it as you traditionally do, and then change the font. So I thought it would do it when you cut and paste, but it doesn't. But regardless, you can choose your type. Once you select it with the type tool like this, then you can go across to your text font options, which are over on the right here. And then you should be able to find your particular fonts that you're after. Then once you've applied them to your sort of sample text, just try and get something that's a bit more unusual. Oh, can't see that. Baskerville. Okay, so we can clearly see I've changed the font. Then when it's selected, then I can add it into the styles over here. So spend a little bit of time getting your styles set up here. That's obviously going to make it easier for you. I'm sorry, that doesn't seem to work, cutting and pasting the text across. It seems to turn it into an object. So it's more like working with the font. Now see how those are pulling apart? That's what I mean about objects not keeping their proportions. So sometimes that'll happen with your logo, in which case turn off that responsive resize, and then when you do it, it should stop things pulling apart. So you can see the relationships when I try to drag those up there, they're now staying similar. So when the relationships between things are looking strange when you try to resize something, that's when you have to turn off responsive resize. So I'll get rid of that. Okay, so it's just a matter of thinking, well, I can select it as an object, so, and then I can resize it as an object. But if I want to actually change the font, just like with Illustrator, you've just got to sort of double click on it, and then the tools to change the font will turn up. So it's pretty much like any other Adobe program, in that whatever you've selected and whatever tool you've got, the options will turn up. Instead of at the top, they turn up here at the side, on the right-hand side. Okay, so the other thing to mention at this point is to do with, again, with your looking at your overall setup. So I'll just select that page again. Sorry, just not seeing what I want. It's because I got that selected. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. So the next thing after that was to talk about how you get your images in. So images are pretty straightforward. You can draw a shape and bring an image into it. So maybe I want to put an image inside that circle. And it's super easy. All I have to do is get my folder of images on board. Did have some. Sample images, there we go. It'll take a lot of different image formats. It'll take JPEGs, it'll take actual Photoshop files, PNGs. And if you just drag across, you've got your image. So it's that simple. So if I want to bring an image in without being in a box, it'll resize, it'll do everything that you'd expect. And so that's kind of really straightforward. So you shouldn't have any trouble bringing your images in. So I'll just stop for a sec and just let you experiment a little bit. You've got most of your components in. So I'll stop recording and go back to the class. How's everybody going? You're all very quiet. That's not recording.